session at the end of the day yesterday to note that there were no reportable actions.
So I don't know if this is true for other folks who are on Zoom, but we couldn't hear you just now, Chair Duran. And then when we did hear you, there was a bit of an echo, and I see Mr. Sowell nodding as well.
Right, that's true.
I think, and now we can't hear you.
You're on mute though.
My mic is on.
Oh, now we can hear you.
Okay. My mic is now on. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience with the technical issues. I promise I woke up on time this morning. As I was saying, the board had convened in a closed session, made it partially through the closed session agenda, but did not complete the full closed session. So we are reconvening an open session this morning to announce that we will go back into closed session to consider the last item. Before we do that, though, I wanted to put a little closure or partial closure on the procedural question and issue that came up yesterday with respect to the votes on the two items that were pulled from the consent calendar. The board will recall that there was a question of whether the items did indeed pass or fail. And we asked the General Counsel's office to take a look at the applicable authorities. And so Vanessa, if you would share with the board what you have determined, and then we'll go from there.
Before you do that, Vanessa, if we could have Louisa take the roll.
Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Louisa and Leah.
Broughton,
Here.
Chen,
Here.
Narrows,
Here.
Dela Cruz, Dellen,
Here.
Durant,
Here.
Ganong,
Here.
Petula, Saleg,
Here.
Shelby,
Present.
Soul,
Here.
apologies, Stallings,
Here.
Tony.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. It was good to hear Sonia Delen's voice. We don't see her on the screen. I don't know whether that is intentional or not, but I just wanted to point it out. Welcome back, Sonia. Glad, I take it you have traveled safely, and we're glad to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
And thank you. At this point, we'll have the General Counsel talk to us about those votes yesterday.
Okay, yes, as Ruben indicated, I took a look at the voting yesterday, and I can give a longer analysis if anyone would, any trustee would like, but bottom line is the State Bar, under its board policy manual, follows for the most part Robert's Rules of Order, including in voting requirements. And we had a quorum yesterday. There were 9 out of 13 trustees present. But under Robert's Rules of Order, abstentions are not counted in calculating the majority. So as a result, both resolutions did in fact pass. On the Jenny resolution 50.6, there were 3 ayes, 1 nay, and 4 abstentions. And that meant that 3 of 4, because 4 were considered the denominator, I'll call it, 3 of 4 approved the resolution, so it passed. For the Consumer Alert Resolution 50.8, under Robert's Rules of Order, there was a unanimous vote approving the resolution because we had 6 ayes, no nays, and 2 abstentions, and the abstentions are not counted again in the denominator. So that resolution also passed.
Mr. Tony.
I think it's important. First of all, I completely agree with the interpretation of the rules that General Counsel Holton has just explained. I agree that under the version of Robert's Rules that the Board of Trustees is using, that both resolutions passed. So let me start with that. I have no dispute with that. I do want to say that there are different ways of establishing a majority, of defining a majority, that in the future, I would like the Board of Trustees to consider. I will just point out that we had a resolution pass that had 3 affirmative votes out of a body of 13. I find it hard to believe how that is a best practice. I also will point out that even of the members present, 3 voted yes, and the resolution passed. So I think that our work is too important, and that it's important to have the best decisions are ones that are unanimous or nearly unanimous for anybody, any, legislative body or whatever, any decision-making body. And so I would like us to take this up at a later point, the deeper question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. I generally do not want to insert myself in the board's debates, but I will point out that I happen to agree with you as well, and that I think that the general counsel and you and this issue, as it's popped up, presents an opportunity for the board to engage in some policymaking. Bagley-Keene prevents us from having that discussion today. It's not an agendized item, so I'm going to ask Leah and Vanessa for us to coordinate on what would be appropriate vehicle and time to have that policy discussion with respect to our rules. I hope it'll be in January. So any other questions or comments on the vote yesterday? Madam Secretary, will you ensure that the minutes properly reflect that each of those items passed? Great, thank you. Okay, I will open it up to see if there's any public comment, just since we're convening on a new day. Technically, we don't have to do that, but I see that there are 19 participants on the Zoom. So if there's anybody here who would like to address the board on the remaining closed session item we have, which is item 3141, discussion regarding sale price and terms and leasing price and terms for the property at 180 Howard Street, San Francisco. Please indicate your interest by raising your hand on Zoom or hitting *9 if you are on the phone. We'll wait a few seconds for you to do that. Okay, seeing none. At this point, the board will convene in a closed session for that one item, and we will come back into open if there's any reportable action afterwards. Thank you, everyone. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your patience and your attention. We are back recording. The board is now in open session. I would like to report a unanimous vote on the following resolution. Resolved that the Board of Trustees, upon recommendation of the Finance Committee, agrees that 180 Howard Street should be listed for sale in 2022. And further resolved that the Board of Trustees directs staff to return to the board at the January 22 meeting with an updated analysis and/or recommendations for 1, the timing of the sale, and 2, the consideration of new occupancy scenarios, including leasing or purchasing a smaller building, and the timing of a lease or purchase. I'd like to thank the board for its very thoughtful and active discussion and consideration of this item. Obviously, the Finance Committee and Mr. Mazur, Ms. Wilson, and your staff, thank you so much. If there are no questions, we will adjourn. Okay, we stand adjourned. See you in January.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.